Welcome to Proclaim. My name is Spencer Hughes. I know I'm a different face, but I work along with Andrew and many others and help create content for this channel. I am doing a lot of the recording and video editing, but I figured I'd come out of the background today and maybe make some other videos as well to really create some topics or discussions about things that I really enjoy talking about or really enjoy studying myself. If you want to know a little bit more about me, you can take a look at the video that's right up here. It's called Spencer's Testimony. It's also along with Andrew's testimony. So you can take a look at that playlist of who Proclaim is, what we are, and what our goal is. For this video, I wanted to bounce off what Andrew said in his video of Proving God. If you haven't seen that, take a look at that and before you watch this one or any future videos to come, because that's kind of our starting point and we're going to just go from there. But Andrew talked a lot about the universe and what Christians call the creation. Andrew mentioned this resource that I hope you have taken a look at, or at least explored a little bit. His name was Dr. Michael Gillian, or Dr.G as I'll refer to him in this video because I can't really pronounce his last name. So what really got us interested in Dr. G and what he had to offer was, I read this book that was called Amazing Truths, How Science and the Bible Agree, and it's all these amazing facts about science, but all these biblical writings that also correlate with those facts of science. And they fit together so perfectly that it's almost impossible to say that God did not do that. So I want to talk more about that today and talk about how those things that he wrote about in his book correlate together. So I'll be referencing his book a lot, or talking about his book a lot. So if you are interested, you can find a link to his book in the description below, and you can take a look at that too, because it's really an amazing read if you like science and like to be able to prove God, which is what this video is about. So I want to start off with the same topic that Andrew did, and that's proving God through creation, through the universe, and through what we have in this world, or everything that we can see or maybe even not see. So I want to start out with a question. Can you prove something that you can't see or touch or feel, or something that isn't tangible? Can you prove that, like God? That's the whole discussion here, I guess. But I want to turn that to something that we know exists. Well, some of us may know that God exists, but for everybody, we know something exists that we cannot see, we cannot touch, but we can see its effects, kind of. But it's not something we can tangibly grab. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Probably not, but it's gravity. Everybody can see the effects of gravity, but you cannot see gravity itself. You can drop a pen and see that effect of it dropping to the ground. Gravity is one of those amazing things that not really a lot of people understand or know much about, other than it pulls things towards it. So there's these studies that a lot of people did that are way smarter than me and any smarter than I will ever be. But they concluded that if gravity was 0.111111111% stronger, everything would collapse. The whole universe would collapse. And that's actually what Dr. G calls the big crunch instead of the big bang. But so that 0.11, I think it was 11 ones, and that's 1/1,000,000,000 of a 1%. If it was that much stronger, everything would collapse. And it's the same in the opposite direction. If it was that much weaker, everything would fall apart and nothing would be able to be put together at all, and none of us would be here. So that's some pretty crazy odds if you ask me. Like, if you or I say that that's an accident, or that I'm here by accident and nothing is on purpose or nothing is for a reason, and I know a lot of us have those thoughts, like, why am I here? What is my purpose? What's my goal in life? I know I have had those thoughts, and I'll share some of those in my testimony video, but I can say for certain that because of those odds, 1/1,000,000,000 of 1%, nothing is on accident. And I can tell you that you have a purpose and that I have a purpose. And I hope to discover more about that purpose in later videos and talk about that later, because that's a topic that really strikes home to me and something that I enjoy discovering because I want to know my purpose as well, and I'm sure you do as well. So let's go back to gravity. I hope you caught something that I said about gravity because it's kind of important for this video. If gravity is something that you cannot see, but you can see the effects of it. So gravity, you can't see, but you can see the effects of it. You can see the pen falling. Let's look at what the Bible has to say about this. In Hebrews 11:1, in the King James Version, it says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. So the Bible turns this thought into a noun. And it turns this thought of those things that we can't see, but we can see the effects of, into one word called faith. The Bible says that faith is the substance, or that actual, tangible, touchable, things that have substance, the things that we see, those evidences of the things that we can't see. So all of those objects or things that we can't see, but still have an effect, we have faith in those objects. For example, gravity that we've talked about. Another example is our brain. I cannot see my brain, I cannot see your brain, but I know that it's there, or at least I hope so, because I can see the effects of it. I see my hands moving, my arms moving, because I know my brain is making that move. So just like we know that God is there because we see the testimonies that He has given us, that maybe you have, that I have, that many people have, of the testimonies of God, of Him working in their lives and how He has changed their lives forever. Since we're on the topic of things we can't see, I want to dive a little deeper into the science part of this. And some of you might not like this, but try to keep up. Bear with me. If you have not heard of what dark matter or dark energy is, don't bother looking it up because no one really knows. I mean, there's plenty of long 100-page articles of studies about it, but the final discussion is no one really knows what it is. We just know that it's there, it's something, we've given a name, and it basically makes everything work. It's all that invisible stuff in the universe that we cannot see, like the black holes and things that make everything rotate. And yeah. Anyway, I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to talk about it because I'm an educated person that talks about things that I don't know. Anyway, the scientists look at the universe, and together the universe has about 68% of the things in the universe is dark energy, and about 27% is dark matter. So together, that's 95% of the whole universe. So that means we only see 5% of that universe. I'll just let that sink in for a second because the universe is such a huge place and so magnificently large, and we only know 5% of it. Imagine what's in that 95% that we have no idea what it is. Other worlds, other humans, aliens some might call, or maybe a being that has created that 95% and even the 5% we live in, that being or that creator that we call God. On that same topic, I want to talk about how God has told us this thing that we have just talked about, of how there's 95% things that we don't know, but maybe there's something out there that knows all 100% of everything, and that would be God. But in Isaiah 55, verse 8, also in the King James, it says that His ways and His thoughts are higher than we will ever be. So why would we even try to look at that 95%? But although it's really cool to think about, to look at, or to explore, there's obviously something bigger out there. Something that has created us, created other things, created the universe, and it knows about all that 95% because God's thoughts are so much higher than what we could ever imagine. I live in the show me state of Missouri, and a lot of people think that show me, or I won't believe you, or I'll believe it when I see it. And that might be a good thing because you're not trusting in the arm of flesh, but maybe in the big realm of things, when you really look at the universe, if you don't believe those things that you cannot see, you're missing out on 95% of the universe. And you're missing out on maybe those promises and those gifts that God has for you. So thank you for joining me in this long discussion, and I hope you take a look at those resources that we have in the description and in our profile.
Proclaim the glory of the Lord. Let